My name is Kadija Deen. I am originally from Ann Arbor, Michigan, but I'm a 3L student at Temple University on the main campus in Philadelphia. I decided to come to the Japan campus my first year, but I wasn't sure whether or not to come my 2L year or 3L year. I decided to come my 3L year because I thought it would be a great way to end off law school. I didn't have the opportunity to travel abroad in undergrad, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to get that last experience, both doing, finally being exposed to international law, as well as kind of just ending off on a good note. I'm interested in intellectual property, so I thought that with the world becoming increasingly globalized, that coming to Japan and getting that international coursework in an international setting would be worthwhile. I really like my classes so far. I didn't have a lot of experience on the main campus with transactional work. Temple is very litigation focused, and so one of the benefits for me was that the Japan program is very transaction based. Right now I'm taking international trade and international taxation, which is something I didn't think I would ever get into, but I found it to be a really interesting and worthwhile class. The professors are very knowledgeable. They all have a great deal of practical experience practicing in an international context. Some of them even do work in the U.S. They're American lawyers. So for me, I'm not married to the idea of practicing internationally, but I would like to do some work I know that will touch on international issues, and that's why I feel like this has been a great atmosphere for me. As an out-of-state student, it's actually cheaper for me to be here in Japan. The tuition is less than it is on the main campus. I guess where the investment portion of it comes in is the cost of living and finding housing. That can be a challenge, but I found it a bit easier than some because I know past Temple students who have been in the program. Also, the TUJ program puts out a guidebook that helps with housing options, so that made it slightly more at ease. I think that housing can be a challenge, especially if you don't speak Japanese and you don't know anyone in Japan, but it is doable. The program is very helpful in trying to connect, will connect you with past students who have had housing here in Japan. Also, there are several websites online that give recommendations, and for some people they chose to come here, stay at temporary housing, and allow, I guess, the program, the Temple Law program, to help them find housing once they got here. The cost of living is pretty expensive. It's not something that I had expected, but with the financial aid, it is doable. You just really have to budget yourself, but it's workable. As a 3L, I don't actually have employment at the moment, and that was a concern for me. I wanted to get that international experience, but I was afraid that if I did come, that I would have a hard time finding a job. But after thinking about it for a while, I realized that this was actually something that could make me more marketable. I spoke to an attorney who, I guess during their time in law school, traveled abroad, and they told me that this was a great thing to have on your resume. If you don't have a job currently and you're looking, you want to make yourself stand out, and we all try to make ourselves stand out the same way. We try to do law review, extracurricular activities, clubs, and employers see that on your resume, and they see it on everyone else's resume over and over again. But having coursework in an international context abroad really has helped me to stand out, and I've gotten a lot more positive feedback in terms of interest level. One of the challenges being a 3L is applying for the bar, but that can also be worked out as long as you start your paperwork while you're in the States, get your fingerprints done early, try to figure out what you want to do early. Also, if you don't, like I didn't do that, the embassy is really helpful in that they do offer fingerprinting. So you can mail it back internationally, get your fingerprints done here. So there are things to work around being a 3L and being without employment. So it's a good experience to have on your resume as well. I would most certainly recommend coming to Temple, Japan. It's a very interesting experience. It's very westernized. It's a very westernized culture, but at the same time, you get the experience of being in Asia. Also, it's a lot less stressful than being on the main campus. The program actually gives you time to explore the country. They set up programs. We've been to sumo wrestling. We've had the opportunity to see the Japan High Court, as well as the Supreme Court, which are great experiences. They also understand that we've come because we want to immerse ourselves. And so a lot of the professors understand that, we're really hoping not to be bogged down by a lot of work. So that helps to alleviate a lot of the stress, as well as just the culture is a lot more relaxed. People are very courteous. It's a culture shock just to experience how kind and considerate people are here, and just, I guess, the atmosphere in which you're learning is so much less stressful that it's made my 3L year a lot more doable than I think for a lot of students.